guys. So, let's hop on to the video. Peace, everyone. So, we just got into Plymouth right now, and right now we are in two groups. We're in the restrooms right now, since it's been like an hour, why did I say an hour, minute long? I was like, why did I just say that? Well, anyway, it took us an hour to get over here, and then right now we're separated into two groups. I'm in group 2, and then we're getting like a special treat because this place, the building here is kind of like in a renovation slash like construction kind of thing. So we are actually getting something that the people are not usually have when it comes to these stores, which I'm excited. We might run into people that were dressed up into like back then, so I'm excited for that. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit so you can see what is here, and let's see what they got.
I'm the Associate Director for Indigenous Education here at Plymouth-Patuxent Museums, which means I do anything that teaches about Indigenous people here for the museum. I'm from the Cherokee Nation, and I've been with the museum, 36, 37 years, somewhere around there.
A hot minute.
Yeah.
That being said, we want to take you through today. We're going to take you through the historic Patuxent home site as well as the 17th century English village. To do that, we will be splitting into two groups. We'll handle that in a moment, but also just to give you a very brief rundown of the museum here, Plymouth-Patuxent Museums, formerly Plymouth Plantation. The name change happened over the last 5 years, even though it was in progress for the last 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And as such, because we do discuss both the colonial history and indigenous history, we figured having a name that represents both is probably best case scenario for us. Now, that being said, as we're going through, please feel free to ask any questions that you have along the way. There's no point of us walking through, staring at each other blankly as we just bore each other to death. So, let's make this as enjoyable as we possibly can, because this is a pretty fun adventure. You get to see our sites behind the scenes before we open up. We're opening up this Saturday. So you're going to see a lot of progress being made, especially in the English Village, as we are in the process of building 2 new houses. Now, that being said, that's about a good rough timeline. We're going to go ahead and split into 2 groups. Y'all can hear on.
The people who lived here, the Wampanoag, their name, Wampanoag, means people of the first light or first dawn. They were the very first ones to see the sun come up over Cape Cod. And so their name, Wampanoag, means people of the first light or first dawn. Their territory went from just south of Boston in the Weymouth area. It went right down through Cape Cod in the islands, down to about Bristol, Warren, Rhode Island. So they had about 40 miles of coastline that they lived on, and about 40 miles inland. And in the early 1600s, the Wampanoag Nation numbered somewhere between 100 and 120,000 people. Fast forwarding from the 1600s, 400 years to today, there are about 5,000 to 10,000 Wampanoag people left today. 5,000 of them live right here on Cape Cod. And they live in 2 communities, actually 3. The closest community to the museum is the Herring Pond Wampanoag, and they're state recognized. They're right along the Cape Cod Canal. And they're the newest recognized group. Our Governor Healy, recognized them last November as an indigenous group here in Massachusetts. Throughout the wintertime, they would live communally, share their resources. In the summer, they would spread out along the coast in smaller single-family home sites. They would have 1 acre to 3 acres of land. That's what you'd see out here by the coast here, out by the rivers and streams, of these small family home sites. They'd have 1 acre to 3 acres of land, and that's where they did their planting. Vegetables, guys, were about 70% of their diet. So more than half of what they ate came out of their gardens. And so you would have seen a small dome-shaped structure that was made out of reeds, and that would be for an average Wampanoag family around 5 to 7 people. And that would be parents, grandparents. Grandparents were an essential part of the family in the 17th century, and of course children. That was the average Wampanoag family. This here would be for more of an extended family, probably in the 12 to 16 range for sleeping and storage. And these beds, guys, would have come right out to the fire. This was a big bedroom. You slept in here, you stored your possessions in here, you lived outdoors, even throughout the wintertime. You can't hunt inside of here, you can't fish inside of here, you can't process animals inside of here. That all would have been done outside. Even cooking, guys, was done outside. You don't want to cook inside your home because it made it smell like food, which will invite animals in. After searching for a tree this size for about 10 years, we had very strict criteria. We wanted a tree that was at least 40 feet long, that at the smallest point was 3.5 feet wide. It had to be straight with no branches on the trunk. And when you're looking for something like that, it takes you a little time to find it. But what you're looking at, guys, is the largest traditionally made machine or boat in over 200 years. We think that this boat will hold about 10 men, but we won't know until we get it in the water. The tree weighs right now in the area of 2,500 pounds, and when you put it in the water, it will actually sink down to about here. As you put people in it, it will sink worse. So, Wampanoag people, they didn't have set meal times. There was no such thing as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They ate whenever they were hungry. And so, you would have seen something that was cooked over the fire, probably just staying warm for whenever somebody got hungry. And they probably ate 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 small meals throughout the day, just whenever they got hungry. A lot of soups, a lot of stews. They roasted, they baked, but a lot of vegetables were in their diet. And so they would have set up kind of like a shade area like this for eating. Mostly wooden utensils, wooden bowls, wooden spoons is what you'd see them eating with. But this is their outdoor eating space. And they did sometimes come together and have meals. They did have like celebrations throughout the year, but pretty much people ate whenever they got hungry. So you may have been eating with somebody, you may not have been eating with anyone at all. It just depended on who is hungry at the same time you were.
Now, bear in mind that as we're kind of looking around, we're seeing some of the original landscape, which our founder, Henry Hornblower, the handsome man pictured above the stairwell that you saw earlier today, he was an avid archaeologist and a historian, and as such, really wanted to create a museum to depict the colonists, and as such, the museum has only since grown. So we incorporated our Wampanoag Indigenous program in the 1970s, which you already saw at the home site. We keep on walking up, let's go. And it is important to bear in mind that all of this that we see here is a recreation. There are a lot of historical sources that are frankly just lost to time. So there are some things that we have to base on other different colonies, or just frankly our best educated guess. And that's just kind of the part of history work. Hey, watch your step there. History work is a lot like detective work. The problem is the witnesses have been dead for 400 years and they're not talking anymore. And as we're walking up, you'll see a familiar sight over on your right-hand side here. This is what we call our post-contact wetu. And so we say post-contact because as we kind of round this corner, you'll see instead of just an opening or furs draping over the entrance, you'll see a very English-style door. And so that is to kind of depict how these two cultures are intermingling and there's a hybridization in a way between them. Any questions or curiosity so far? I'm using anecdotes perhaps. Wonderful. I'll pretend I'm doing my job perfectly then.
Do not forget the corn.
Oh, why? They do not have their own corn.
They set no corn in those parts of the north, or very little. Now, think, what was it like when we were without corn?
We were near starvation.
Aye, and so you understand why they praise it as highly as silver. And And so now that we grow corn most profitably, we can sell the overplus back to the natives. And what do we receive in exchange?
Beaver furs mostly. But I would say that beavers, they are a rare custom back in England, so that's why we are to send it back to England. So those fancy people can have their fancy castor hats and line the colours of their coats. Then we can make up a profit, as it were. But after a long, long while, we will be able to pay off these debts. That's all they do.
What we call the first Thanksgiving, and essentially how it goes from just a one-time event in the fall of 1621 to becoming a recurring national holiday. So feel free, wander around, look around, and observe. If you have any questions, I'm right here. It is, yep. So we have 1621, and then kind of up through the years.
So like a little after the Pilgrim plantation, we are now doing a dinner cruise in the spirit of Boston. So we're gonna ride up the along the water up to like close to Maine, but it's gonna be amazing. Fancy food. I'm not sure if this is free or not, since I think it's pretty free, but I will see you inside. Wow, so beautiful. What a beautiful sunset. Oh, there's a little rocket over there. Well, that's gonna be it for today, guys. And Boston is amazing right now. This trip is so amazing. I am so happy I did this trip, and I'm so happy I went to this trip. It's like so amazing right now. Tomorrow, which is it's gonna be the last episode of the Boston series, and I can't wait for that amazing time, and then cherish these memories. I got so many amazing things, like souvenirs to hold about the whole memories, and I just want to hold this so when I go back, when I'm like my older self and say, hey, I can't believe I've done this, and I'm so happy that I've done this, and those were amazing times. And guys, cherish your life. No matter how hard it is, make sure you focus on the ones you love and the memories you cherish. And then when anything happens that is good, let it come to you. Instead, you go to them, because then you can be happy of what you do. And this is why I started my channel, to experience the ways of life around the world. And I am like, I wanted to do that. I just want to experience life to see what it is and what things I can do in the future. Like, I'm in Boston right now, which is very amazing, and I'm loving it. And last year I went to Georgia, which that was amazing. I hope you guys watch my Georgia series. That was amazing. It just cherish life before the time has come. That's all I want to say. And make sure you do all the things you want to accomplish, or most of it. Because when that time has come, you might not do it. You cannot even do it again. Or you can't even do it. And make sure you make your choices wisely, guys. And yeah. So the next video will be the last episode of the Boston series. I'm not gonna do spoilers, but we're going somewhere like a park. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so you can get notifications through all my videos and shorts in the future. And make sure you give me comments that say how great my videos are. And make sure make sure you have a good life, guys. And that's all I have to say, because your life is amazing, and it's, yeah. So remember, guys, let's make the impossible possible. So goodbye, adios, au revoir, ciao, take care everyone, have a good day, and make sure you have a great life. I'll see you guys in the next video.